Après ses débuts de chanteuse avec les Banshees, Suxy Sux n'en revient flanquée de son mari Budgie sous le nom de The Creatures. Celle qui a vécu le punk de l'intérieur et les années 80 avec honneur, vit maintenant à Montpellier et continue de fasciner un nombre de fans bien accrochés. La guerre avec les majors est déclarée et nous avons rencontré une guerrière au visage bien maquillé.
So long and you become established, people think they have their own perception and their own beliefs in what you represent for them, and those, as time goes by, that can be very limiting, and it's, yeah, you have to really try not to feel bad about disappointing them maybe, or living up to their expectations, because it's more important that you don't disappoint yourself. Work should be a personal fulfillment. I think it should express something that needs to come out. I think all forms of art are a form of therapy in a way, and a form of understanding yourself. And I think that's, in a way, humanity's dilemma, is trying to understand why they do things, why they think things, why they feel things. Mm-hmm. And I think too many people block it off in cliches and stereotypes. Susie and the Banshees became very defined to a lot of people, I suppose. So I think I needed to create something that had some ambiguity and something visceral and a bit uncontrollable.
L'instant, s'il vous plaît, je peux parler avec mon technicien. Sounds like I'm talking in a coffin. A heavily filled coffin with mud. Get the picture?
And I don't like being stereotyped or, made into a cartoon that, I only have one emotion or one type of music.
Have you ever looked back to the past, saying, well, those were good old times?
But all kind of schoolyard gangs go their separate ways. Mm-hmm. It's always, I saw, a story of people, I don't know, it's kind of like saying, having a convention of mods on Brighton Beach, as if it ever really happened. It became a kind of a myth in its own lifetime, where people after the event said, this is what happened, there was a Bromley contingent, this is what they did.
It was something that just happened. It wasn't particularly planned, and it wasn't necessarily everyone wasn't necessarily all in agreement, but it was, everybody had their own opinion, was allowed to have their own opinion.
If you believe the myth, that the 100 Club in Oxford Street would have been holding about 30,000 people probably by now, because they were all there. They were all there at the birth. at the punk festival, you know.
It was really more a time of real naivety in a way, in a strange way.
It was the best things.
It's the time, it's the place. Right now, for right to outer space. Right now, let me have that wild embrace. You have set my soul on fire. Only you can satisfy this great desire.
It became quite apparent that was going to be the next major move by the majors, was to repackage the past, was to get revival tours going, was to make a lot of money out of, like, you know, the last 2 decades. And we just felt that wasn't really something we wanted to do. I mean, it was quite simple. It was very obvious because of the lack of interest in what we were trying to do next.
I think it's really ironic when you think that, you know, it's sort of full circle 20 years later, something that the record companies didn't want to know, wouldn't touch, and now it's all safe in the past, sanitized and packaged. They love it. And I don't want to be a part of that.
They're also trying to make money out of all the crap bands they signed in the 80s that didn't make them any money then. So now they can repackage it and say it was all around at the time. And of course, nobody can remember. And so they go like, oh yeah, I remember that. Don't really, you know. It was crap. Yeah, it's really good, isn't it? You know. Mm-hmm. Blondie were laughed at when we were around. You know, it was like, you know, Talking Heads were good and Devo was good and the Runaways and Blondie were kind of manufactured kind of tabloid things. Good for the tabloids, really bad for music. Why should we want to listen to it again?
Yeah, who cares anyway?
Night clubbing, we're night clubbing, we're what's happening. Night clubbing, we're night clubbing, we walk like the ghost.
I think both me and Budge are very disillusioned and pissed off with the way the whole industry has gone, not just the music industry. I think the film industry, every industry has become very corporate, very narrow, very controlled, very conservative.
C'est bon aujourd'hui. Parce que le temps s'est presque terminé pour les grandes maisons de disques. La tête va être coupée complètement.
The record companies are responsible for killing music,
Yeah,
that is the truth. And the internet is going to be responsible for killing the major record companies.
Yeah,
And
but it's-
I'm going to say bravo for that.
It's giving back independency.
Yes,
It
yes.
should be, as long as
Yeah.
it isn't castrated before it can start.